by the bushfires, that have been affected by the floods up in Queensland. So many things happening around Australia at the moment. It's amazing.
Yeah, we've got bushfires down in Victoria and floods in far north Queensland. We've just sent 20 swiftwater technicians flying out today to go to Tweed Heads to help with the flood operations that are happening out there. They're expecting
more of a relaxed show this second round, and what we're going to do is we're going to teach you a little bit about our culture, or various cultures, because Aboriginal Australia is made up around about 700 different nations, and we all have 700 different languages. So we're all different peoples, just like in Europe, we are different countries. I'm an Aranda man, I come from Alice Springs. Everybody know, does anyone know a man called Albert Namatjira? Yeah, that's my great-grandfather. A world-famous artist and an icon of Australia, one of the most famous artists in the world. We'll teach you a little bit about some of our words, about what sort of things we do and how we present ourselves, and we'll also talk about some of our paints and some of the dress that we have on. What we're going to do is we're going to kick off with a yiraki, and we're going to just show you how wonderful it is played. And we've got Brendan and Graham, and they're just going to have a little jam, and you can see how it's played. For Brendan and Graham there, just a little sort of, get some of the sound. What we're going to do now is we're going to get Brendan up to just tell you a little bit about the didgeridoo, how it's made and how we play it. So I'll hand it over to Wangli.
Okay, how the yidiki is made is that's just a branch off a tree. And the termites eat all the wood in the middle of the tree. And what we do is we look for the termite nest. And we tap on the branch. If it's hollow, see how far along the termites have eaten. Cut it off. Take the bark off it. On the other end, we put beeswax on there, and that's how we make a yidiki. All the noises you hear us making on the yidiki, we can make on anything that's got a bit of pipe, vacuum cleaner pipe, conduit pipe, make it exactly the same noise on the pipe. The longer the yidiki, the deeper the sound. So they come in different notes, different keys. When we make the animal noises, we just use our voice. So what I'll do is I'll run through some of the animal noises I can do on the yidiki. Now the first one is the noise of a dingo. Now, a dingo doesn't speak the same language as a dog. Okay, a dog barks, a dingo yelps. A dingo doesn't bark. So I'll make the noise of a dingo first, and then straight after I'll make the noise of a dog so you can hear the difference between the two animals. So the first one is the dingo. this one is the noise of an emu. Now, emus make a gulping noise in their throat. Now, the only reason why emus make this drumming noise is because they protect themselves. They've got the 2 long legs, 3 toes. The middle toe has a long, sharp toenail on it. Then the emu's kneecap is on the back of the leg. It's not on the front like ours. So his leg bends up, bends opposite to our leg. If you upset him, he kicks, he puts his leg out, and because his kneecap's on the back, his leg's locked. So he'll try and scratch you with that. Emus have one problem, is when they lay the egg, someone's got to sit on the eggs. So daddy emu sits on the eggs till they hatch. For 9 weeks, he doesn't move. He doesn't go to the toilet, doesn't eat, doesn't drink. He sits on the eggs. Now, when he sits on the eggs, he sits on his legs, so he folds his legs underneath him. So he's got no more protection. Now, the only other animal that likes to eat emu eggs besides Aboriginals is a goanna. Now, goanna's a big lizard, but he can't see properly. We learned that when we grew up and we hunt goanna, we never stand still. Because the first thing goanna does when he gets scared is he runs up a tree. Now, if you stand still when we're chasing the goanna, and if you stand still, he thinks you're a tree and he'll try to run straight up. Goanna's very sharp claws, so he'll cut on the way up. Goanna is like an old blind man. He can't see properly. He's always sticking his tongue out. When a goanna looks at us, all he sees is the outside of our body, so we're like a shadow to the goanna. Now, the goanna and the emu, they know each other very well. So when the emu's sitting on the eggs and he sees goanna sniffing around for the egg, the first thing that daddy emu does, being a typical man emu, is he puffs himself up and he makes himself look bigger. So the man emu, he goes like this, he takes in a big breath of air, he puffs himself up, he ruffles his feathers, so he's making himself look bigger. So when the goanna looks up and sees the emu, all of a sudden the emu is bigger than he was before, because the goanna can only see the outside of the emu. Goanna starts to get a little bit shaky now, he's not sure. He can smell the egg, but he's not sure. After the daddy emu's puffed himself up, he makes a gulping noise. He goes. Now, because the emu's puffed himself up, that noise resonates inside of the emu, so it echoes. Because he's sitting on the ground, the vibration travels through the ground. Now, goanna walks close to the ground, so he feels that vibration. And that vibration is similar to feet stamping or kangaroo jumping. So goanna's not sure, he can feel it, he thinks there's a whole herd coming, so he gets scared and he'll run away, the goanna. So this is the noise that emu makes.
Okay, what we're going to do is also get along and do some more sounds. We're going to do a train sound, a more contemporary one, and this is how we do a train. Train, we call him Thomas the Tank Engine. Okay, we're going to do another one, and this is another contemporary sound. This is a modern sound, something that you hear on Sydney Harbour. And there we go, that's the foghorn. And the very first time that Aboriginal people heard that, we call that one the Manly Ferry. All right, we're going to do, while we're moving on, we'll move on. I'm going to just show you another instrument here. Now, everybody knows we call this a boomerang. A boomerang is a word that comes from down here in New South Wales. Where I come from, we call this a Kylie. If your name is Kylie, then you're named after this boomerang. If you've got a friend called Kylie, then she's named after this boomerang. Everybody knows Kylie Minogue. She's named after this boomerang. And this is a female boomerang. The female boomerang comes from the female part of the tree, which is from here all the way up. From here down is male. So most trees, 90% of trees are female. Because the tree gives shade, shelter, it nurtures us, it gives us food, it gives us medicine, and it takes care of us, which is a female trait. So these things are feminine, and they teach us about our culture through these trees. Now, what we're going to do is a boomerang like this is called a Kylie. A male boomerang is called a Wilkie. And a Wilkie is a fighting boomerang, and your Wilkie, you throw it back to front. But a female boomerang, you throw it forward. And basically, you throw it on a 45-degree angle, and it'll spin right around, and it'll come back to you and catch it. It's also used for music, so we can also play music. Just a little example there. And it's also a fighting instrument, so you use it for battle as well. It's very good for hunting. It's better than a shotgun. When we go out bush, we can throw it up into the thing, and when we want birds up in the sky, what we do is we don't throw it up like this and throw it like that, because what happens is the boomerang will go straight down into the ground. Want to get a bird? What we do is we throw it on an angle like this, and we throw it like that, and the boomerang goes straight up into the air, and you'll come down and you'll get about 10 birds in one go, and you just come back and you get your boomerang again, start all over again. Okay. What we're going to do now is also teach a little bit about the yidaki itself. The yidaki is a male instrument. Only men are allowed to play it, or boys. No girls are allowed to play it, although it was a woman that found it. But that's another story. So it's a taboo for women to play it. Only men are allowed to. It's also made by white ants, like Brendan was saying. And there are very, very many different types of didgeridoos, or yidakis, from different types of trees. What we're going to do now is tell you another little story. I might hand it over to Brendan again.
Okay, this next story is a bit more for a modern story. This is a story about a hitchhiker. This man is hitchhiking, walking along the side of the road. 3 cars will go past. So you'll leave the first car, will go past, then the second car, you'll keep walking, then the third car, you'll keep walking. And then in the distance you'll hear a truck. Now the truck will slow down and stop, and the truck driver will say to the hitchhiker, "Where are you going?" And the hitchhiker says, "Oh, up the road." And the truck driver says, "Okay mate, get in." He gets in the truck, you'll hear him shut the door, the gears on the truck will change, and the truck driver will finish off the story by blowing on the horn.
And there we go, the hitchhiker. So what we're going to do is we'd like to thank you all for having us here today. On behalf of Dirimu, Aboriginal Dance and Didgeridoo, we'd like to thank you once again and have a great day and enjoy yourself, stay safe, and God bless everybody. Thank you.